What's up, everybody? As 2016 comes to a close, I figured it would be fun to do sort of a recap video of 2016 of all the main pickups this year. I'm not going to go through every single card, but the highlights of the year. As I kind of go through this year in review, I was just like, thinking to myself, I went crazy in 2016 with picking up baseball cards. I can't imagine that 2017 will be as crazy as what I picked up in 2016. And so just to start off, back in January and February is when I picked up the Hank Aaron rookie card and this T206 Ty Cobb card. The Hank Aaron, and Ty Cobb I featured in another video. The Hank Aaron, when I bought it, was an SGC 4, and through the year I crossed it over to a PSA 4 because I became a member of PSA when I went to the National in August. And probably the Hank Aaron may be the best purchase I've ever made in terms of return on investment. I think I bought the card for like $700, and I could, I feel like this card, considering the centering on it, could easily be sold for like $1,500 today, which is crazy to have that type of return on investment. I don't think I've ever had anything like that. And I usually don't look, I do look for it to a certain capacity, but, at the end of the day, I'm looking for cards that I like. Two fantastic purchases, and I can't believe that happened this year. I thought that I purchased those last year, but looking back, I purchased them in January and February. And then in March, I went to the show in White Plains, New Jersey, and they have a bunch of shows like this in White Plains that if you're in New Jersey, I totally recommend you going to see. And I featured these cards, so I'll go through them quick. I picked up the Phil Rizzuto, this Mark McGwire, USA, and I picked up these cards raw, and then later got them graded. So I picked up this raw, and I ended up getting a PSA 9. Got this Wade Boggs rookie, and I got a PSA 9. Again, I picked it up raw at the show. If it'll center, if it'll focus. I guess it's not going to focus. Roger Maris, PSA 4. Which, by the way, this Roger Maris, the more I think about it, like I look at cards that like this that are PSA 4s, and they are a disaster. And so this card, I'm really unhappy with the grade. I think I might actually cut it out, break it out. I've never broken a card out. I think I might do that and then resubmit it to PSA and see what happens. Now, this is more like a PSA 4. I bought this raw, and I paid for it like it was a PSA 4. This is a really nice card. Willie Mays, PSA 6. Again, I bought that card raw. Ryan Sandberg got a PSA 6, but I don't care that I got a PSA 6. Reggie Jackson, PSA 6. Again, bought all these cards at the White Plains show. Billy Gardner. The one card I did not get graded, which was the Lawrence Taylor rookie card. Picked up a lot of these cards in like a $5 bin. And then also picked up this David Kingman Immaculate Ink, number 249 back in March. Actually, didn't pick it up at the show. Picked it up at as in a box of Panini. So then in April, I started getting into some prospecting, specifically with the Yankees. This is one of many that I've picked up over the year. This is a PSA 10 Jorge Mateo. And again, I bought that card raw, and it ended up coming back as a PSA 10. And then this Derek Jeter 93 Topps I got from my friend. I put together a starter kit, and gave it to two of my friends' kids, and they loved it. And the one thing that I guess their dad was like, they had a bunch of this particular card, so they gave me one of these cards, which they totally didn't have to do, but and I ended up getting it graded. This was part of my ridiculous videos, ridiculous cards video, the Bill Ripken FF error, PSA 10, because it has to, I mean, if you pick up this card, you have to pick up the PSA 10. And then also picked this card up back in March, and again, I picked it up raw and ended up coming back as a PSA 10. Trey Turner, who I'm really excited about. I'm sorry, April. And then in June, I guess probably May. Actually, let me say back in May, I actually got this Jock Peterson in 2015 as part of a Topps Finest box, and I ended up getting the card back in June, May or June, sometime this year. So got it back and then got it graded, and it graded PSA 10. This is another card that I picked up right before the show. Back in probably July, I picked this card up. This is a Dellin Betances 2012 Topps Chrome Refractor. Picked it up as a raw card and ended up getting a PSA 10. And then some other cards here. Just got these cards just in a pack. Just figured I'd show them here. Dixon Machado. Let's see, Dixon Machado to 99. I ended up getting, this is Drew Dosh, Bowman Chrome, and then Socrates Burrito. So this kind of goes back to my investment advice video. Now, like I said, don't buy packs, and I'm as guilty of it as anybody. Just every once in a while, I gotta buy a box of packs, and this is, I think, a perfect example of what you get if you buy packs. You get Socrates Burrito. Some people, I don't know, maybe some people get Superfractors. I get Socrates Burrito. And then the big card that I picked up right around June or July for the year was this 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth. Paid a little extra than you would for a normal PSA 3 just because I thought this card looked really nice for a PSA 3. Again, bought the card, not the grade, even with a Babe Ruth. Just really nicely centered, great color. I happen to like this particular card the best of the Babe Ruth cards. Let's see if I can get this to focus. There you go. All right. And then in August was the National in Atlantic City, and I think I mentioned this before, but the National, I showed you guys the video of just me walking the floor, but it is unbelievable. I think the only thing I can say about the National is that it's overwhelming. Like, it is just completely overwhelming. There are dealers all over the place. I got to a point where I had been there for 3 hours, and I had no idea what I wanted. I had just walked the floor and just was looking around, and I had accomplished nothing in terms of like what I wanted to buy, because I was just so completely overwhelmed that I had to sort of do like a reset and kind of go through everything again. And I think I picked up some really nice cards. Again, I picked up all these cards raw. This is a Sandy Koufax rookie. Picked up this Eddie Matthews, again raw. Picked up this George Anderson or Sparky Anderson rookie card. Picked up this Rod Carew, 68 Topps. Picked up this Nolan Ryan, 1970 Topps. Picked up this 1969 Tom Seaver. Picked up this Gil Hodges. And when I signed up for PSA, I got this this Ty Cobb, and goes perfectly with the real Ty Cobb. This is obviously a reprint It's a NSCC promo 486 of 777, which I think is a nice looking card. So then after the National, I took a month off, and in October, I picked up I ended up winning a big fantasy baseball league and used all of the winnings to purchase this beautiful 1888 King Kelly card that I just could not pass up. I looked at many different cards after I had won that fantasy league, and I decided to go with this King Kelly card. And here is the back. I may try to cross it over to PSA, but if they're not willing to give it a grade, which they probably won't, I'll probably just leave it in the SGC holder. And then in November, as part of this Yankees prospecting, and as you guys know, I'm a big Yankees fan, I picked up this Gary Sanchez, numbered to 150, and this Clint Frazier Blue Wave, numbered to 50. So two guys that I'm really excited about if you're a Yankee fan. I hope to God that the Yankees don't trade Clint Frazier or Gleyber Torres for this talk about Quintana and David Robertson. If they do, I will be furious. If the Yankees trade away, it's like everything that they've gained over the last year or two, they're going to throw away to Quintana and David Robertson. So I hope that I think I gotta believe that the Yankees are not dumb enough to make that trade. But anyway, so here's two of the. I got a little sidetracked, and then finally in December, and I just featured some of these cards in a video. Picked up this David Hess, Tyler Jenkins, Alcantara. Picked up the Gleyber Torres because if you're going to be Yankee prospecting, you got to pick up Gleyber Torres. Shohei Ohtani, who is supposedly the Babe Ruth of Japan. If you haven't looked up about him, you should. And I don't think he'll come to U.S. this year, but possibly next year you might see Ohtani in a Major League Baseball uniform. Then we have Miguel Andujar, who could be the future third baseman of the New York Yankees, and Justice Sheffield refractor. And then finally some gifts that I got, and I'll just show them to you real quick once again. The Elston Howard, the Bill Skowron, and two T206 cards, Tom Downey and Boss Schmidt. So again, just a crazy 2016. I can't imagine, I'll still be collecting in 2017, but I can't imagine that I'll be going as crazy as I did in 2016. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It's been a fantastic year. Happy New Year to all of you, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.